I'm just going to ask you a bunch of free agents. You tell me if the Niners should sign him or not. And I'm going to
Let's
start
do
with
it.
a cornerback that's going to get a ton of money that the Niners are reportedly very interested in. I can see it. He's really good. 25 picks, 4 years. J.C. Jackson. Should the Niners sign J.C. Jackson?
Dang, man, it's supposed to be an easy question, but it's kind of loaded a little bit.
Yeah.
I would love to have J.C. Jackson as a 49er.
Sure.
I
Sure.
don't think they need J.C. Jackson
Okay.
to win games.
Okay.
So if they can make it work and you don't have to lose Laken Tomlinson, then all right, I'm all for it. Load up while Trey Lance is on his rookie contract.
Hold on. Let me retort, though. Of course, they don't need a premium corner to win games. They've proven that for a long time. But every time the Niners have won a Super Bowl, they've had a premium DB in their secondary. From Deion Sanders to Ronnie Lott to Eric Wright. Like, it's been part of just saying. And also, I think most Super Bowl winners usually have a Pro Bowler in their secondary that year. I'm sure there's exceptions. So I'm talking about winning a Super Bowl right here and taking this team over the top. Clearly, the quarterback position is the most important spot there, but I would be all for it, man. If they gave this guy 5 years, $100 million, I would say A+.
20 million a
No?
year. Yeah.
Cost of doing business. I mean,
Who am
Armstead's
I
making that.
losing? Who am I losing? Because I just watched the
All your
Patriots give
free
up
agents.
47 points in the playoffs and not they couldn't do anything with Josh Allen. He threw 5 touchdowns. He threw more touchdowns than incompletions. So
Yeah.
how much of an impact, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to
Yeah.
lose other areas and be weaker there
You'll
because
lose
I
probably
paid 20
DJ
million.
Jones, Arden Key,
You know
every
what I'm
free agent,
saying?
Laken Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
would think so. Okay.
when I watched the 49ers last year, I didn't think it was because of corners. I mean, I just thought the offense couldn't score enough points.
I just felt like if this team could – now, they forced a ton of fumbles last year, which was crazy, and they ended up getting a lot of turnovers. But if they could just be middle of the pack in interceptions, the defense would be winning actually more games for them than they are.
I can
That's
see
how.
that. And that's
Yeah.
when he's valuable. You pay
Yeah.
him 20 million because he's good for 5 to 7 picks a year.
Here's my hesitation. Why doesn't Bill Belichick want to give him that money?
Belichick is really good at getting rid of a player 1 year too soon as opposed to a year too late.
Yeah, so if he's out, I'm like, what do I not know about J.C. Jackson? I know he got kicked out of school. I mean, that's a long time ago. Clearly, he's a hell of a professional, but usually Belichick's right. Now, he did trade Chandler Jones, and it's not like Chandler Jones was washed. He was
And Collins
expensive.
too. Collins was still solid after, but yeah, Chandler
Yeah.
Jones, that's the one. Chandler has been one of the most underrated football players in all of the NFL, him and Brandon Cooks. So
And it seems like with
yeah,
a
he's
really
been
cheap
amazing.
quarterback like Mac Jones, you could afford J.C. Jackson. And with a cheap quarterback like Trey Lance, you could afford J.C. Jackson. I'm in. But you're cautious. I respect it. Trill Life just gives $1 because he's Trill. I appreciate it. True and real at the same time. Do the Niners brass ever tell you to cool it? LOL. No, they just pretend like I don't exist, which I think is the smart thing to do is that they try to be nice to me. They're like, hey, Grant, I love your work. Then I'd be like, oh, man, I can't be mean to Kyle because he's nice. But he doesn't do that. He just ignore me. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to keep talking crap then. I'm sorry. Josh says trade Jimmy to Seattle. Niners get draft picks plus Warner gets picks twice.
Yeah.
I think Seattle's aiming for Deshaun Watson. That's my hot take.
I don't even think it's a hot take. I mean, I think that's when you make a move like that and you have that type of draft capital, I think that's what the move has got to be. Now, I think tomorrow we find out more about what's going on with Deshaun Watson. So once that stuff, whatever happens Friday, if it comes out in a positive view for him, he'll be a Seahawk, I think, by Monday.
Thank you. Let's talk about that for a second. Friday is a big grand jury hearing. We'll either know if these are criminal charges or civil charges, right?
I don't even know exactly what. I just know it's like a big day.
Hey, if I'm right, and they'll either decide whether these are civil charges or criminal charges. If he has criminal charges, he's not playing anywhere for a while. If they're civil, he sat out last year. How many years are you going to suspend a guy for a case that's going to be tried in civil court over money? I'm just saying, I don't know what happened, but if that's what the case is, seems like Pete Carroll is the kind of guy who would go for that. I mean, he drafted Frank Clark.
Yeah, and coaches can do that because everything you hear about Deshaun Watson, like he's not a bad guy. Now his decision making has been a little weird, right? But
I'm not vouching for Deshaun Watson, but it seems like his teammates unlike Carson Wentz, right?
When I say he's not a bad guy, prior to this situation, which is very weird, and I've talked about it in the NFL, and I've been there in the NFL. They got the massages stuff. Yeah. It's all set up for you already.
Yeah.
So why do you need
don't have to get? Yeah, you don't have to go outside the facility.
So that's a little interesting. I'll just say word it that way.
But
prior to that, everything you hear about him is the most amazing person ever. So, he got a weird fetish. I don't even say weird fetish.
I don't
He's
know
doing
what the
weird
hell
stuff.
he did. I
But
hope he didn't assault anyone. But it just seems like Pete Carroll is ready to pounce, and he's going to be like, I don't know. I mean, the justice system ran its course. He's not going to jail. He's sat out last year. I'm 70 years old. I'm going to rebuild. Well, I mean, he's going to get Malik Willis, who everyone says is kind of like the next Trey Lance. Good player, might need a little time. He's 70 years old. I don't see it. So Deshaun Watson coming to the NFC West probably by Monday, according to Eric Crocker. You heard it here first. All right, moving.
by Monday.
Neil says adding JC and Bobby is a no-fly zone, but need money. Yeah, that's the problem with cap space.